Today is Monday, June 29th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're on Chapter 11, A Vision for You. We will be reading page 163. The 12 and 12 are on Tradition 12. We'll read page 186. And of course, read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this beautiful Monday morning, my friends. It's the start of a whole new week. I've reframed Mondays. I have always been kind of a goal-oriented person, and I just love Mondays because I've got this little weekly calendar, and I'll try to make these little weekly goals, healthy goals, positive things, and things that are realistic and achievable that I want to try to do throughout the week. Try to be a better person, better human being, better man, but more importantly, to do my higher power's will. Some days I'm successful, sometimes I'm not, but it's always fun to have something to strive for. But with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends, so in A Vision for You, we are almost done with this chapter in the core text of the book. So we have been recapping the origins of AA here, and now we're going to talk to the reader directly. So this is page 163. We know what you're thinking. You're saying to yourself, I'm jittery and alone. I couldn't do that. But you can. You forget that you have just now tapped a source of power much greater than yourself. To duplicate with such backing, what we have accomplished is only a matter of willingness, patience, and labor. We know of an AA member who was living in a large community. He had lived there but a few weeks when he found that the place probably contained more alcoholics per square mile than any city in the country. This was only a few days ago at this writing, 1939. The authorities were much concerned. He got in touch with a prominent psychiatrist who had undertaken certain responsibilities for the mental health of the community. The doctor proved to be able and exceedingly anxious to adopt any workable method of handling the situation. So we inquired, what did our friend have on the ball? Our friend proceeded to tell him, and with such good effect that the doctor agreed to a test among his patients and certain other alcoholics from a clinic which he attends. Arrangements were also made with the chief psychiatrist of a large public hospital to select still others from the stream of misery which flows through that institution. So our fellow worker will soon have friends galore. Some of them may sink and perhaps never get up. But if our experience is a criterion, more than half of those approached will become fellows of Alcoholics Anonymous. When a few men in this city have found themselves and have discovered the joy of helping others to face life again, there will be no stopping until everyone in that town has had his opportunity to recover, if he can and will. Out of the 12 and 12 are on Tradition 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all of our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. And one of the last lines yesterday we read was talking about what is the fine line in anonymity here? Obviously, we can't be a secret society, but at the same time, we can't, promote it from the rooftops everywhere we go. So what do? Well, it talks about sharing AA with family members and saying, hey, or to employers or business associates. It says here, though not in the strict letter of anonymity, such communications were well within its spirit. So we're on page 186. But it became apparent that the word-of-mouth method was too limited. Our work, as such, needed to be publicized. The AA groups would have to reach quickly as many despairing alcoholics as they could. Consequently, many groups began to hold meetings which were open and interested friends and the public, so that the average citizen could see for himself just what AA was all about. The response to these meetings was warmly sympathetic. Soon, groups began to receive requests for AA speakers to appear before civic organizations, church groups, and medical societies. Provided anonymity was maintained on these platforms, and the reporters present were cautioned against the use of names or pictures, the result was fine. Then came our first few excursions into major publicity, which were breathtaking. Cleveland's Plain Dealer articles about us ran that town's membership from a few into hundreds overnight. The news stories of Mr. Rockefeller's dinner for Alcoholics Anonymous helped double our total membership in a year's time. Jack Alexander's famous Saturday Evening Post piece made AA a national institution. Such tributes as these brought opportunities for still more recognition. Other newspapers and magazines wanted AA stories. Film companies wanted to photograph us. Radio and finally television besieged us with requests for appearances. What should we do? And we will find the answer to that as well as the conclusion of the 12 and 12 tomorrow. "24 hours a day, June 29th. AA Thought for the Day. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous involves a continuous striving for improvement. There can be no resting period. We must try to work at it all the time. We must continually keep in mind that it is a program not to be measured in years, because we never fully reach our goals, nor are we ever cured. Our alcoholism is only kept in abeyance by daily living of the program. It is a timeless program in every sense. We live it day by day, or more precisely, moment by moment, now. Am I always striving for improvement? Meditation for the day. Life is all a preparation for something better to come. God has a plan for your life, and it will work out if you try to do His will. God has things planned for you, far beyond what you can imagine now. But you must prepare yourself so that you'll be ready for the better things to come. Now is the time for discipline and prayer. The time of expression will come later. Life can be flooded through and through with joy and gladness. So prepare yourself for those better things to come. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may prepare myself for better things that God has in store for me. I pray that I may trust God for the future. Daily Reflection, June 29th. A rippling effect. Having learned to live so happily, we show everyone else how. Yes, we of AA did dream those dreams. How natural that was, since most alcoholics are bankrupt idealists. So why shouldn't we share our way of life with everyone? 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 156. The great discovery of sobriety led me to feel the need to spread the good news to the world around me. The grandiose thoughts of my drinking days returned. Later, I learned that concentrating on my own recovery was a full-time process. As I became a sober citizen in this world, I observed a rippling effect which, without any conscious effort on my part, reached any related facility or outside enterprise without diverting me from my primary purpose of staying sober and helping other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and man, some good stuff. I love the 24 hours a day in daily reflection today. Talking about that ripple effect in the daily reflection. I wanted to shout from the rooftops. Later, I learned that concerning my own recovery was a full-time process. I remember early on in my sobriety, even before I worked the steps, the fellowship was so genuine and game-changing for me at the very beginning. I wanted to shout it to the rooftops. Promotion rather than attraction, right? But then came the time, probably 12 months into the program, I don't know how I stayed sober that long, but the guilt and the shame started to come in, and also the boredom or the good times. And all of a sudden, I would either romance a drink, or I'd want a drink to bury the guilt of the things I'd done in the past, the things I was still holding on to quell the fear that was still inside me. I didn't know how fearful I still was, right? Well, that's where I had to get to work. And my sponsor tells me this funny story. He said that he had talked with his sponsor. They had just finished working the steps together. And his sponsor urged him, he said, hey, you should probably find a sponsee. You should probably start working with other alcoholics now. He said, why don't you start raising your hand in the meetings to sponsor? Well, sure enough, at the same fellowship I attend, I knew I needed to find a sponsor. And I was like, I need to work the steps. I don't understand exactly how to do that, but surely I can find somebody who does. And by the end of the meeting, they say, raise your hand if you'd like to be a permanent or temporary sponsor. A guy that I always respected, a fellow Yankee, raises his hand. So I saw him raise his hand. I was like, oh, I got to snag him after the meeting immediately, right? I didn't know that was the first time he'd ever raised his hands to become a sponsor. And fast forward, I don't know, over 7 years later, we talk on a daily basis, and I'm so grateful for him. He's like the big brother I never had, But he's also spoken the truth in love. But I say all that to say this kind of applies to the 24 hours a day as well. I can't stay sober on yesterday's meeting. I can't go, well, I have XYZ amount of days sober. That doesn't work for me. What does work for me is showing up every day, trying to apply the steps to my life every day. And as the 24 hours a day says, moment by moment. I love to lift weights. I love to write. But if I just do it sporadically, I never really build anything. But if I work it every single day through prayer, meditation, taking a personal inventory, admitting my faults, talking to other trusted friends when I'm struggling with something, living an honest, open-minded life, always being willing to be teachable. When I do these things, not only do I invest in my own sobriety, but I can become of use to others. That's where the attraction comes in, right? When I see people that are rooted in the program and seem genuinely happy and of service and humble, and man, you can talk to them about anything and they're not going to judge you. I want what they have. I want to be like that. That joy is contagious. Well, that's the way I want to live too. Not because life's all rainbows and sunshine, but simply because even in the storms, these spiritual tools can carry me through. It is so much more than just not drinking. And I love what my dear friend Mel from the UK says. I came for the drinking and I stayed for the thinking. Great stuff. But my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a great one. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect. I'm just talking about my own personal experience and reading these books that I absolutely love. And also, speaking of experience, if you ever like to share your experience, strength, and hope, please email in bigbookdaily@gmail.com. I'd be honored. I love hearing from you, and I want to get you all involved more in this podcast. This is not the Rob Show. This is for all of us. This is just an opportunity for me to carry the message and hold myself accountable. But this is for everybody. This is your show. So if you ever want to share, please email in. I'd be honored to pass on your message to anybody who's listening. Or you can always call in. It's a Google voicemail. The number is 865-309-5486. See, I think I finally got it memorized. It only took about 2-3 months. But yeah, I'd love to share your message on the show. And if you don't want me to share the message, just let me know. And that's absolutely fine. It's always exciting to hear from returning listeners and new listeners as well. And finally, tomorrow is the last day of the Big Book and the 12 and 12 readings. And then we go back to chapter 1, page 1 of both. And we'll be including 2 new recovery readings to replace 24 hours a day in daily reflection, for now at least. And that is Courage to Change from Al-Anon, and also the Just for Today devotional from NA. So I'm really excited to read those because I've never read through those completely before. And last thing, I'm sorry, I'd already said last thing before, but it did remind me of it. If you've never subscribed to the morning emails, they're called the Daily Ponderables. They have a website. It's like an email chain that you can get every morning. And man, it is rich with recovery readings. It's a lot like this podcast. You get a little bit out of the Big Book, the 12 and 12. You'll get a little bit of reading, the devotion out of 24 hours a day, one day at a time, Just for Today, some NA readings, Courage to Change. I mean, it's got everything. Some quotes from other alcoholics, and any other spiritual quotes. So again, that's Daily Ponderables. If you've not heard of it, I have been subscribed to them for years. And I get an email every morning, like clockwork, right around 5-6 o'clock in the morning. And when I actually take the time to read them, I always benefit. It's beautiful stuff. But my friends, I'm done, I promise. I hope you have a great one. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.